Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Darrin Goodman with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson. Today I want to do a beginner tapping lesson in the style of Eddie Van Halen. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look what we got going on here. Alright, so like I said, this is in the style of Eddie Van Halen. This is similar to what he does in part of Eruption. And what we're doing here is we're actually playing like an arpeggio. We're playing the notes of a chord separately. So the three notes that make up like an E minor chord, for instance, are we have E, G, and B. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play those notes separately, and we're going to use tapping, and then we're going to add some other notes into it. Alright, so we're starting off. I'm on the 5th fret of the 2nd string with my first finger, and then I use my 4th finger for this hammer on here, but you can use your 3rd finger, you know, if that's easier for you. Anyway, so you put your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and then with the finger you're going to tap with on your picking hand, we're going to tap at the 12th fret. So a lot of people, you know, they'll put their pick down or put their pick in their mouth and use their index finger. I like to use my middle finger so that way I can keep a hold of the pick. So, you know, because there's lots of cool licks you can play where you pick and then you tap notes. So it's just a habit for me to play it this way. And I recommend that you know, that this is how you do it. So we're going to start off. We're going to just simply at the 12th fret, you're going to pluck the string to get the, so that way you're fretting the note on the 5th fret, and you're getting the, basically the sequence started. So you pluck, and then do a hammer on to the 8th fret, and like I said, I'm using my 4th finger. You could use your 3rd finger, whatever's easier for you, and then tap with that. I'm using my middle finger on the 12th fret. So this is all on the 2nd string. So what we're doing here is we're playing those three notes from an E minor chord. So it's like the 1st, flat, 3rd, and 5th of the major scale, or the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of the minor scale. And then you just simply repeat this. So after you tap, and then you remove your 3rd finger, and then you pluck the string again to get the sequence started over. Just like that. Now, when you're doing this technique, one thing that's really important is that you don't want to hear the other strings making a bunch of racket while you're trying to do it. So if you're just playing, you know, like this, you're leaving the other strings kind of susceptible to making a bunch of noise. So what I'm doing here is that my 1st finger, where I'm fretting this note on the 5th fret, the underside of my finger, the pad part here, is just lightly touching the 1st string. So that way it's muted and doesn't just, you know, start vibrating and making noise. And then with my picking hand, my right hand, I'm resting the palm of my hand on the lower strings that I'm not playing. So I'm just isolating just this 2nd string. Just like that. Alright, so to get this, you know, like I said, it's, you know, similar to what Eddie's doing in Eruption, is that this note that we're tapping at the 12th fret is the 5th, because it's like 1, flat, 3, 5. So then we're going to move that note up a half step. So now we're going to go 1, flat, 3, flat, 6. And you just do the same technique. So we start off in the, you know, in the root position. Well, not really the root position, for the E minor, for, you know, 1, flat, 3, 5. And then we move up a half step. Now, on your left hand, your fretting hand, we're going to move that shape up a whole step. So our first finger will go from the 5th to the 7th fret, and your 4th finger will go from the 8th to the 10th fret. And we continue to tap in the same place. And now we move that finger, the tapping finger, up a whole step, like that. So far we've got now we're going to move this shape up on our fretting hand a whole step again. So now we're at 9 and 12 and still tapping 15. And then we're going to move the tapped note up a whole step to the 17th fret. So you could keep moving that around, you know, kind of however you want. So first of all, especially if this is like a completely new technique to you, you're going to want to just practice this, just getting this down. And then to the 17th fret. Now, you can, after you have that down, you can do variations on it. So maybe we could go move the tapped note back and forth. Stuff like that. Now, you could also move the notes that you're playing with your fretting hand. So, like, we could move it like, you know, stuff like that. It's a little bit more challenging to do that, and I just kind of thought of that right now, so I haven't practiced it. Just stuff like that. There's so many variations of things that you can do with this. It's probably the easiest thing to get down that sounds cool. You know, like whenever you tap something, people seem to dig it. It's total ear candy. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that and you got something out of it. If you like this lesson, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if there's something you'd like to see either myself or one of the other instructors at guitarcontrol.com do in a future lesson. Anyhow, that's all I've got for you today, so until next time.